Is it time for a story? Well, I thought I'd tell you some fables instead. Now, fables, are just like stories, but they always have a lesson in them called a moral. And you can always tell what the moral is by the end of the fable. The first one is the hare and the tortoise. A hare, better known as a large rabbit, was once teasing a tortoise, a large sort of turtle. Slow poke, said the hare over and over again. Don't make fun of me, said the tortoise, or you'll be sorry. Sorry, said the hare, who was known to be a bully. Why would I be sorry? You should be sorry that you're so slow. Well, the tortoise had finally had it and said, I'll bet you that I can beat you in a race. You've got to be kidding, said the hare. You'll lose, and you'll look ridiculous. Then take my bet, said the tortoise, and of course the rabbit couldn't resist. They asked a squirrel to judge the race, and they started out. The hare, as you might have guessed, moved very quickly through the race. In fact, when he got close to the finish line, he was so far ahead he decided he might as well stop to rest and wait for the tortoise. You see, he not only wanted to win, but he wanted to make the tortoise feel bad and make sure he saw him win. So the hare sat down under a tree to wait. Meanwhile, the tortoise was plodding along, one foot in front of the other, at a slow but steady pace. When he reached the tree where the hare had stopped, what do you think he saw? The hare had fallen fast asleep. The tortoise moved right by him towards the finish line, and just as he crossed it, the hare opened his eyes to see it happen. The tortoise had won the race after all, which is why you might sometimes hear people say, slow and steady wins the race. Wasn't that a good fable? Now I have another one for you, all about the lion and the mouse. One day, a big, strong lion was sleeping in the shade when a mouse ran across his face. You see, it was the fastest way for the mouse to get where he was going. Well, unfortunately, the lion woke up and growled. He grabbed the little mouse in his giant paw. You can imagine how scared the mouse was and how much he begged and pleaded for the lion to spare his life. Oh, lion, you're so big and strong. You can afford to be kind and let someone so much smaller than yourself go free. Someday I'll pay you back for your kindness. The lion laughed and roared, I'm sure I don't know how a shrimp like you could ever do me a favor, but you've made me laugh, and I have no reason to kill you. So he let the little mouse go free. It wasn't so many days later when the little mouse was going about gathering food, and he heard the sound of a lion's roar. It sounded like the lion was in a lot of trouble, and of course the mouse immediately thought of the generous lion who let him go only days before. He ran as fast as his little feet would carry him to where he thought the sound was coming from. And there he found his friend the lion caught and all tangled up in a hunter's net. There seemed to be no way out. I don't see how I can get free, said the lion, in a voice that was very small from sadness, and I don't think you can help me. But the mouse, remembering how it felt to be trapped and afraid of being killed, just walked right up to the giant net and began nibbling at it with his mouse-sharp teeth. It took him a while, but before dark came, he'd managed to nibble a hole big enough for the lion to pull himself free of the net. Thank you, my friend, he said to the mouse, and then he added, and you were right. Sometimes the smaller, weaker creature can help the bigger one. And the mouse and the lion both went their separate ways before the hunter came. But each one always remembered the other and the lesson they'd learned, that might isn't always right. And that goes for the hunter, too.